What's up, everybody? Looks like we've got a couple people on the stream. We'll see how this goes. Let's see, just got a message from Josh. Yep, I'm on now. Let's see. All right, well, to the four of you who are watching, welcome in. This ought to be fun. Hopefully, we'll see. The good news is, I have no idea what I'm doing. We are totally making this up. This was literally something where, I guess a couple weeks back, I had just a disastrous experience rebuilding the big Millennium Falcon Lego kit after it had gotten more or less destroyed moving from house to house, and it was easily one of the worst Lego experiences I've ever had. And we got to the end of that, and I shared a time-lapse video of tearing it down and a time-lapse video I'm in the process of working on of putting it together. And someone had asked, you should stream a Lego video that you're actually enjoying, that isn't terrible. And I liked that idea. So it's taken a little bit, and as I normally do, probably went way overboard for a video where we're just gonna build Legos. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the Legos themselves, but I'm also kind of excited that there was a project, and I worked on the project, and the project kind of came out as well as I expected it to. So hopefully, if this is fun and if everybody likes it, hopefully we can do more of these, or do these on a regular basis. So it is bricks and beverages, and I figured I'm about as basic as they come when it comes to drinks. So I have my usual Kool-Aid and Tito's, but I did try to get a little special for you, and have put it in one of my favorite glasses. And this is one of the sales kickoff glasses that we had from Solid Fire back in the day. And it's a little wet, so I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but the Boston V Mug had me as a speaker for a few years in a row, and the Steve Athanas amazement of the world got me some pretty cool little shale coasters. So the bricks will be the Boba Fett helmet. These just came out a little while ago. They are not super large. It says it's only 625 pieces. This one is set 75277. Looks like they've got the badging for the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back on here, and got some pictures on the back. It looks like it's not very big, about 8.5 inches tall, but I've got a bunch of really cool space over in the library that you can kind of see behind me that I think this will fit in. This will fit in pretty well. So we're going to work on this one. I have no idea how long this is going to take. I have no idea how long we want the stream to go. This is certainly not the only one of these that they make, nor the only one that they have. I also have the other two that were in that same set. We've got Boba Fett, we've got the TIE Fighter pilot, and we've got the Stormtrooper. So we're gonna do Boba Fett, and if we're having fun, we're gonna keep doing more of them. If it's boring, we'll do one and finish up, or if something breaks, or if the setup doesn't work the way we want it to, we've got lots of options, and I have lots of vodka. So we will throw that one over there, put that one over there with it, and we will go ahead and get started with Boba Fett and vodka. All right, so for those of you I don't know, my name is Jeremiah, and I guess like most of you and most of the rest of the world, I am stuck indoors and have been inventing ways to keep myself entertained. This is just a another in a long list of projects that I've been kind of entertaining myself with, but we're going to go ahead and get started with this one, and we'll see what happens here. So, open up the box, and we have bags. Alright, that's all of them. Put that down. And let's see what we got here. We've got bags that are numbered. And for those of you who didn't see the story on Twitter, the Millennium Falcon more or less fell apart as I was moving from house to house. It was too broken to find the places that needed to be fixed. And so I ended up just taking all of it apart. And it was just 7,600 pieces, just piles and piles of Lego, having to go through and pick each one out. And the thing that I missed the most was this. And I know that's going to be loud, so we'll try not to talk and mess with the plastic. But these numbered bags, so it looks like we've got 5 of them, are magical. And you don't realize how magical they are until you try to do a Lego build of any significant size. I believe the Millennium Falcon was 17 or 18 bags, big gigantic bags of Lego. When you don't have them, all of a sudden you very much realize this sucks. Trying to put this together sucks. Trying to figure this out sucks. So I'm very excited to see the bags of Legos that we're going to be able to open up one at a time and that are going to correspond to the instruction booklet. This just makes me happy already. This is already a better experience than putting the Millennium Falcon back together was. So we're off to a good start. Congratulations. All right, I have on a laptop here next to me, I have the instructions for this. And there's an instruction booklet here, and it's got all of the stuff that's in it. For whatever reason, particularly the ones that are written on black paper, and you can see, if I open this up, you can see that it's black paper with the colors on it. I have a real hard time picking out the different shades of gray on top of the black, and it might just be that I'm old as hell and that's just the way it goes. I'm certain that's not going to get better as we continue drinking vodka. So almost all of the Lego builds that I do at this point, I don't use the paper instruction sets anymore. You can go out to lego.com, and I'm sure all of you know this, most of you know this, hopefully. You can go out to lego.com and you can pull down the instructions for just about any set that, certainly any of the newer sets that they're putting together. It's a lot easier for me. I can zoom in on things. You can set you can adjust the contrast on it if you need to be able to see shades. Anyway, all that to say, I have a laptop here that has a PDF open of the instructions. And so we can all follow along. You've got one window that has the instructions in it. You've got one window that has kind of the build area that's here. And hopefully we can see kind of what we're doing and what we're working on, and go ahead and get started from there. Does that sound good? As always, if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'm going to keep it open here. I'll try to check over and make sure that I can see kind of what's going on, and if anybody has any questions. I would love to hear terrible dad jokes. I would love to hear, quarantine stories. I mean, we've all got them at this point, I'm sure. I'd love to get your feedback on the Lego kits. I'd love to hear if there are Lego kits that you're interested in, that you would like to see built on stream. We'll get into all of that here. So I'm going to give the stream probably, 2 or 3 minutes to see if anyone else joins before we get started. So yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm excited about this. And my OCD says damn it. Put the bags in order. So there we go. All right, give me about, I don't know, give me 2-3 minutes. Take a quick break, and then we'll be back and we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Looks like we had a couple more people jump in. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. Again, for those of you who just jumped in, we're going to build the Boba Fett helmet tonight. It is a Lego set 75277. It just came out a little while ago. My friend Jason Langer, I think, actually sent me a message on Slack and said, holy cow, look at these, they just came out, and I'm ridiculous, so I went ahead and bought all 3 of them. Never done one of these ones before. It looks like, what, 725 pieces or so. Probably isn't going to be super difficult, although I'm sure the more I drink, the more interesting it'll become. But we're going to go ahead and get started and kind of dig through it. I'll keep an eye on chat. Feel free to jump in if you have any questions. If you want to just troll me for being a grown man on lockdown who is playing with Legos, it's all good. I'm totally okay with all of that. we're going to go ahead and stack those and kind of get them out of the way a little bit there. And we'll start with bag 1. I don't know about you, but I'm going to use the box cutter to open these from now on, because I'm always afraid I'm going to get things stuck in the corners and lose track of them. So here's bag 1, and we've got some pieces. Let's see, we've got our good old handy tool. I'll keep that for when I inevitably mess something up and have to take it back apart. And make sure we don't have anything buried underneath anything else. All right. Couple of those. Couple of those. Couple of those. Only one yellow one. That's fun. A few of those. One of those and 3 of those. Nope, there's 4. I'm always interested when they have odd numbers. The Millennium Falcon did so much stuff in sets of 3, so that as you were building it, you knew that there was always going to be something that bridged between them, or something where you were going to have an overlap or something so that they could do another row of 3. It seems like they did that all the time in there. Which was fun. I mean, as much as I hated that rebuild, it's such a fun model to put together. Okay. I think that's probably good enough. Get you out of there and get you over there. All right. So let's take a look at the instructions here. Welcome to your Lego Star Wars building adventure. It's not going to look like that when we're done. I'm pretty confident. I mean, I've heard of, drink till they're pretty. I don't think it's going to look like that when we're done. If you need a tutorial for how to use the Lego tool, here you go, Brick Separator 101. And here it shows, again, this is part of the beauty of having everything in bags to start out with. We can kind of get an idea of what each one of these is going to look like, right? So we're going to build the head, we're going to put it on the stand, we're going to keep adding things in as we open up bag after bag. So we're going to start with bag 1, as one does, and it should be pretty fun. Here's another little bag that we've got that has some of the smaller pieces in it, and we'll go ahead and open you up, or we'll try to with the world's least sharp box cutter. And we'll put these right there. I think that will probably be good. Let me move that back just a little bit. All right, good enough. Good enough. Oh, see, look, see right here? See how there's one piece left in that corner there? That's constantly what I'm worried about when I'm opening these up, is that if I don't cut it clean all the way across and then dump it out, there's always going to be that one piece. And then I'm going to build the entire thing, and I'm going to freak out because there's one piece, and then I'm going to have to go find the great big huge Lego bin to see if I have an extra one of that one piece. It never ends well. So if you can open the bags all the way across, do it. Otherwise, make sure to check your bags before you throw them away so that you don't lose anything. Okay, let's see what we got here. We're going to take one of you and one of you. And these guys feel like maybe I should put some music on in the background. Otherwise, I feel the need to fill the emptiness with my voice, and as hundreds and hundreds of conference goers can attest, that's never a great idea. So what do you think, chat? Do we just leave it empty, and when we're building, we don't make any noise? Or should I find a Spotify track and kind of put it on in the background and leave it a little bit quiet? Go ahead and leave a comment over there in the chat, and we'll figure that one out together. All right, and the window goes in. I assume that's the direction that the window is going to go. I mean, it's got a little piece underneath, but I can't really tell from the picture if that lip is on the outside or the inside. So we're going to hope that I got it right, and we'll figure it out later if it's not. And then we add another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And we add these two big ones here. Music is good. I agree, music is good. Let's see if we can do that. All right. If I go into OBS, and in this scene I add an audio output, and I use that one. And then we turn it down. All right. How's that, chat? A little bit of music in the background. Too loud? Not loud enough? Just let me know. All right. And then we've got another one that we need to add on that side. And I think we are done with step 4 just right. Look at that. That's something I don't hear often, and I got it right on the first try. All right. Step 5, now we're going to pull one of these across the top, and these two. This is actually a really cool color. I don't know, let's see how the autofocus does. Oh, that's actually not bad. God, I love Sony cameras. Okay, so this is actually a really cool piece because it's not a typical blue. It's almost like a royal blue. I like it. There are a couple interesting color pieces in here. I mean, this, the lime green, you don't see a whole lot of, and then the, I guess affectionately, the Yoda green or the Boba Fett green plates that are in here as well. So that's kind of cool. I like those. All right, now we need 6 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we stack them up 3 high. And we throw it on the end. All right, chat. If you look at that, what's up, Damien? In chat, I need to know beverage of choice tonight. It is Bricks and Beverage. As usual, I am my basic self, and I have Kool-Aid and vodka, because vodka goes with everything. But I've got a really cool sales kickoff baseball home run solid fire glass that I've put it in. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good on the drink front. Makes everything more fun. All right, so we're done with that one. We'll move on. And it looks like they're telling us just put that whole thing aside and start with something new. So we shall. We'll put that over there. And let's see what we got. Magners. Oh. I actually have one of my friends, it must have been, I don't know, 5 years ago at this point, one of my friends sent me a cider making kit, like a big box thing of cider making kit, and I never ended up opening it. And as I have been moving houses and cleaning stuff up, I actually found that the cider making kit box, and I don't know if any of that stuff is perishable that's in there. Who knows? But Magners makes me think about cider, and cider makes me think about happy. Yeah. Speaking of solid fire reminiscing, I have no idea if you can see this or not, but the inimitable Keith Norby sent me the social distancing Elio disinfectathon t-shirt that they had made. So it's pretty awesome. Thank you, Keith. I wore this on stream just for you. But yeah, I've seen tweets about solid fire socks and just all sorts of ridiculous stuff today. I have no idea. I didn't order it. I just asked for it. But I think that's because Keith likes me. That's all good. All right, so where were we? We were here. We put those two on. And now we need those pink. See, this is where, and I don't know if you can see this on there, but the two little dots, these are pink. And I know that they do different colors that are going to end up being covered up, and it's really just to make it easy to look at the no, you're not on me. To look at the different colors and be able to put things together and see them in the instructions. But I'm looking at both the digital version, we have the print version. In no world does what they have in the instructions actually look like pink. Luckily, these are the only ones that happen to be in this bag. Again, let's hear it for bags of Legos that are clearly labeled and marked, and we can jump off from there. So, I'll throw you and you. And then more lime green. Here and here. Let's see. Who's I think maybe I made the first one a little strong. That's okay. We'll figure it out as we go, right? All right, 3 of you and 1 of you. 1 of you. Start strong, end strong, or start strong and hope to end at some point. Did you, Josh, did you say that you had this build as well? Have you done these before? Because I just, I think it was Langer, I think it was Jason Langer who put a link to these in Slack one day, and I'm an idiot, so I just went ahead and bought all of them, and hadn't seen them before. Haven't yet. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but the library, oh look at, God, that autofocus is amazing. The library has plenty of shelves and plenty of space, which is good because I've got these 3, and then what else do I have over there? I have the Tantive 4, I have the new Ultimate Collector Series A-Wing, which is supposed to be spectacular, and I've got the Imperial Star Destroyer that are sitting over there that are waiting to be built, and putting Legos together makes my brain really happy. So the question will be, if this is fun for everybody, maybe we even get a Discord stream together so that everybody can jump in and we can all chat on this together. Maybe we do them on stream, or maybe I just wait until I'm having a bad day and put it together on my own. But either way, there's lots of Legos to be filled. Yeah. How is the Tantive 4? It says it's not an Ultimate Collector series, which is okay, but it seems awful big and detailed for a non-collector series kit. It looks pretty fun. All right, now we're gonna build another one of those. Yeah, I'm hoping that Wicked Brick ends up opening up here soon, or I'm gonna have to get somebody in the UK to order things for me and send them. For those of you who don't know, Wicked Brick is a company based out of the UK that makes acrylic stands for the larger Lego pieces, Lego sets, especially the Star Wars sets, and they're spectacular. They are so much better than the included black brick UCS deals that come with those kits. And I've got a bunch of them that I need, and right before I ordered them, right before I got into the house and got everything set up, the quarantine shut them down and they haven't been shipping outside the country. So hopefully they will start shipping again here soon, or one of my UK friends is gonna have to make an order for me. All right, where are we? We've got those two. We're gonna throw you there. We've got those. And we've got this. All right. So I think we're done with 15. Little pink dots for no real reason. Lots of colors that we know are going to end up getting covered by something else. But structural support, there we go. Now, in the back of you, I'm going to throw one of those. And I'm going to put that on there. And then this guy in the front. Yep. And then we marry the two together. Like so. All right. Looks like a house. Lots and lots of plates for us to be able to attach things to on all sides, which I think is what we're going to end up seeing a lot of. Yeah, mixer, to get the obvious out of the way, Mixer's owned by Microsoft. It's basically a much, much, much smaller version of Twitch. It's got some interesting stuff for it. The transmission delay is almost zero. Like, I can actually open up the stream here on my desktop, and the delay between me broadcasting it to OBS and then streaming it and you seeing it is, it's less than a second. It's so fast, which is pretty awesome. It doesn't have the ecosystem for the plugins that Twitch does, and the thing that's really frustrating is it doesn't do streaming for non-game stuff as well. Like, Twitch has really moved into the just chatting or the coding, or there's a whole bunch of stuff on there that you can use. Discoverability on Twitch is abysmal anyway, but you can at least see categories of stuff. You can tell if you look in the description for this stream that I ended up calling it like makers and crafting or something, because there just is no way for me to say, I want to build Legos and chat with my friends and drink. So they're getting there. They've had some pretty high profile acquisitions over the last couple months. it works. I wanted to play around with it. I really wanted to help the product teams provide feedback for them, and they're smart and they try to prioritize feedback from people who actually use the platform. So I've done my best to play around with it and see how it works and what it does, so that I can be as useful to them as possible. And yeah, I mean, joint streams, or even I do have full NDI support, so we could do like a Skype call where each of us are building it at the same time. We could set up like a Discord chat, and we don't have to both be on camera, but we could, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that we can do. This is actually pretty fun because I've been playing around with the NDI stuff. I know that Nick Howell, who works over at NetApp, did a big conference with a bunch of different NDI things, NDI endpoints, and learned a whole bunch from it that I took back to both the Skype and the streaming platforms to be able to figure out, like, when can we not do this with Skype anymore? When can we use Teams for it? That sort of thing. But hadn't really played around with NDI a whole lot. So what I have over here on my left is a laptop that has a PDF open that is the directions. And rather than having to run that into a capture card that's over on the laptop that's running OBS, I'm just using NDI. So NDI is a protocol by which you can use the network connection, the LAN connection between two devices, as an AV connection. So normally if I have a source, whether it's a game or a laptop or a display or a camera, whatever it is, if I want to get it into OBS, I have to have Windows see it as an AV device. And then I can go into sources and I can pick it out of the list. What NDI does is say, I'm going to use, instead of a capture card in my OBS device, I'm just going to set it up as a software construct and then run it over the local LAN network and have it show up as a device. So the only thing that the laptop that's running the instructions that you can see on there, and the laptop that has the webcam attached to it and the overhead cam attached to it, the only thing they have in common is the wireless LAN that they're connected to. It gives you again, if your network can handle it, it gives you a way to do things like this without having to run cables and without having to have capture cards and all the rest of that stuff in there. And it scales way up. Like, you can do hundreds of endpoints. If you go out to Newtek, Newtek is the name of the company who does NDI. There's a full toolkit that you can run on Windows that will do things like show you a monitor where it'll find all of the NDI endpoints that you have on your network, and it will give you, the big mosaic screen of all of the different sources that you have. It'll do the capture, which is what I'm doing on the laptop, and then running it in as a source. So the NDI stuff is super cool, quirky, complicated. I can actually use my phone as an NDI endpoint. So I could attach it to the Wi-Fi and then use the camera and microphone from my phone and actually send that right directly into OBS as a stream. Yeah, it's really cool. What is especially fun, and the reason that we were talking about Skype earlier, is that Skype actually supports NDI natively, so that I can start a Skype call with however many people I want on my laptop that I'm running OBS on. And when I go into add sources, I actually see each of the Skype callers as an individual source. So if I wanted to do a panel with 10 people on it, I could connect all 10 of us to a Skype call and then take each of their cameras and audio sources and use it one at a time. And then, like I've got here, make a frame around it or anything like that. I think the motto, we talked about this a little bit on Twitter, the motto is more than was reasonably necessary. This lockdown, I've been a little bit ridiculous. There are many cameras, there are many camera angles, there are 2 entire gaming and streaming stations upstairs in a room that I converted into a studio, and a PC that's specifically set up with ultra widescreen monitors to do timeline editing for it. It's ridiculous. I don't know how the economy is doing poorly when having me locked in this house has simply cost me an absolute ton of money. But I digress. So yeah, the streaming has been really cool. The NDI stuff has been really cool. I'm definitely itching around with playing with it more to do stuff like this. So to your point, Josh, if we wanted to do a co-stream, or if we wanted to get as many people as we wanted into, we could let people join over audio using Discord, or we could set up a Skype call and bring everybody in, and I could actually broadcast you and me both in the same Skype call out over whatever we wanted to do, and we could have as many people in as we wanted to. So definitely, I mean, hell, there's more than enough Legos to build. We'll do that one for next time. All right, so we got that in there. Let's find the next step here. Yeah, definitely. I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck here, so we'll figure something out. Let's see, what do we got? We got you. We've got two more of these little pink guys. There. Yeah. No. See? This is wrong. You are going to go there. And then the little pink guys actually go in the gap between them. Yeah, on iPhone, I think the camera app works great. The Android app, for whatever reason, I don't know what the backstory was, they pulled it out of the Google App Store. So you actually have to go find the APK and sideload it. It works fine. There are a couple places that are pretty trustworthy to be able to pull those down, and you can do a CRC check on them, blah, 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 if you're worried about your phone. But for both of them, it's pretty cool where you just run it as an app on the phone, and as long as the app is running, when I go into OBS and I go to add an NDI network source, it'll show me here's the phone. And then I can bring it in, and it works just like any other source in OBS would. I get an audio stream and an audio channel, and I get a video stream, and then I can do whatever I want to with them. Apply transforms, move them around, resize them, do whatever. So yeah, it's pretty cool and pretty flexible. So definitely, I mean, especially since it seems like we have all the same constructed Lego kits. That'll be fun. We'll definitely have to work on that. Nope, not you. Put you and you. Now the one yellow piece, which goes on the side. Of course it does. Yeah, the 11 Pro, especially with the wide angle camera, the wide angle lens is pretty spectacular. And they've got every tripod I've bought, and like this, the overhead camera rig that I bought, everything has come with a phone holder at this point. So just a little spring loaded, it mounts just like a camera would on top of a tripod or into a mounting frame. So the 11 works perfectly. I have a bunch of the Sony Alpha. I've got an A5100 and two A6000s, and I think I'm in the process of getting rid of the 6000s and replacing them with the 6100s so I can do 4K video recording. But they're pretty amazing. Obviously, in the end, I think they end up being, less expensive than an iPhone, but certainly not as day-to-day useful as an iPhone would be. But they've been, the autofocus on them is amazing. Lots and lots of camera, lots of lenses that can go with them. They've got a whole app ecosystem, so I can do, time-lapse picture taking. Like there's so much fun stuff that can be done there, and they weren't super expensive. The Alpha 5100 is maybe the best kind of streaming, vlogging, use it for whatever you want to camera I've ever seen. And I was hoping that the 6000 was going to be as good, but it just isn't. So I'm going to bite the bullet and spend the extra $100 and move to the 6100. actually build some Lego here for a minute. And feel free in the chat, like at some point, just tell me to shut up and build Lego, and I certainly will. And that definitely looks like it's going to end up being kind of the crown of the helmet. So that makes sense. Minion set. I've had to self-limit the types of Legos that I'm allowed to buy, because what I want to do is to buy all of them, but I've limited myself to Star Wars and NASA, and that's as far as, I mean, I spend enough money just on Star Wars and NASA. I feel like if I let myself go any further, we could get in trouble. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Wow, limits. Yeah, it doesn't happen often. Yeah, my brain, so I mean, for those of you I know, you know this, but my brain loves checklists. And because it loves checklists, it loves collecting. Anything that has a list of things that's in a set, or a list of things that you can collect, baseball cards, tennis shoes, Lego kits, action figures, like it doesn't matter what it is. If it came with one of those little cards that had all of the different possibilities with the little check boxes next to it, my head, it just makes my brain blissfully happy. So saying I want to collect everything that is a Lego ends up being not as satisfying as I want every Ultimate Collector Series set, or, you know, I want every pair of Air Jordans in the original colorways that came out while Jordan was still playing basketball. Like, it's easier for me to put kind of an artificial limit on it, because then it gives me a checklist that I can actually finish. So yeah, I have to put some limits on there, because otherwise I'll go nuts. Old school, yeah, the castle Legos, but especially the space Legos. I grew up in Germany, and the original space Lego sets, oh, I had so many of them, and would, if I let myself, would immediately hit every old school collector that I possibly could to buy everything, and none of us need that. The mortgage does have to get paid, the kids do have to eat, so we've got to put a little bit of discipline into it, but not much. All right, did I see Tom on here? Wow, I haven't seen Tom in forever. So Tom and I used to run Destiny way too much, way too much. I haven't seen you on there in forever. So welcome back. Hope everything's going well with the family. All right. We're about, I don't know, what are we in? An hour in? Is the is the stream looking okay? Is it stuttering? Are there any sorts of performance issues? Throw something in the chat and let me know how it's looking. Because again, this is the first time I've ever done this. Totally making it up as I go. So if the audio's working, video's working, if the the different sections that are up on the screen, if there's anything that isn't working the way it's supposed to, let me know and I will try to fix it. Or at least fix it for next time. Oh, asymmetrical builds, you drive me crazy. See, it's got, it's the same number of pieces. It's got the 2 reds and the 2 whites, but my brain wants the red on either side and the white on either side, and they've got it mixed up. All right, stream looks good. A little bit louder on the mic. Okay. I think that makes the mic a little bit louder. I don't know. That did? Sweet. There's so many things to mess with over here that I'm deathly afraid of changing something and then having it blow up. So, all right, we'll do that. Maxed on system volume, still a little tough to hear. Okay, so hopefully that'll be better. Added some digital buzzing. It may be, so the OBS laptop that I'm using is it's a Dell gaming laptop. We're gonna strip out all of the stuff that looks good from Alienware and just release it with a Dell badge on it. And to say that the fans on it are loud doesn't do credit to loud. So it may very well be that I just turned it up enough that you can hear the fans in the background. So we're gonna track it down just a little bit there, and we'll see how that works. Next time, what I can probably do, since I'm not using a whole lot of CPU at all anyway, is just tell the fans to stay off, and we'll see if that works or if that does anything for anyone. All right. That sounds better. Just one of those. Oh, here's the other one. I was going to say, I've got enough pieces that I'm almost positive there's 2 of these. But they're just facing in opposite directions. That. The other thing I could do is just talk louder. Do minifigs interest you? You mean collecting the minifigs? No, I mean, obviously I keep the ones that come with the sets, and if you've seen the Wicked Bricks, the acrylic stands for the different UCS sets, they actually come with a place to be able to display all of the minifigs that come with it. And the Firefly, the Serenity set MOC that I built, I went out to one of the minifig sites and just bought the entire crew so that I would have those that went with the set. But I've never gotten into go collect the individual ones. But I'll go to a comic convention, they've got the Heroes Convention here in Charlotte, and there are just entire stalls that are nothing but different custom minifigs and rare minifigs, and it's just never gotten to something that makes my brain say, yes, I absolutely need that. which is honestly probably a good thing. All right, looks like we're putting the top on this section. And I guess this is going to be, I guess that's going to be the front. I don't know. And then that would be the back. I guess we'll find out. Put you on there like that. Star Wars, Marvel, and Disney. Have you gotten into the mystery packs where you've got a box of them and they don't tell you what's in them, and it's just loot boxes but with actual collectibles? Are you doing those as well? Because that, I'll be honest, that drives me batshit. Like that whole let's take loot boxes. Oh yeah, that's EA. That's EA bringing loot boxes to the real world, and that just makes me angry. I don't know how you do it. Like it feels like my serotonin's just being willfully abused by someone to take my money. But I guess that's just how it goes. All right, let's put you there. And you there. And you there. See, I've had almost enough to drink to comment on the feeling yourself through the package, but I'm gonna let it go. Good job, Josh. There. All right, lots of little pieces for this one. So we'll do this and this. It does want me to put it on and then turn it around. Looking for a full series of the Disney minifig set. All I pictured was Clark Griswold shopping for lingerie for his wife as you told that story, Josh. Here's an odd question. Every good story starts, here's an odd question. So I'm looking forward to this. Recommendations for good lightsaber toys for an 8-year-old boy. My son has some off-brand ones, but I'd like to get him some nicer ones. First of all, you're an amazing dad. Because the idea of buying good lightsabers for my kids when they were 8 years old feels like I would rather just light the money on fire. But your 8-year-old is probably more capable of dealing with a lightsaber than my 8-year-old was. 3D printed ones. Yeah, I feel like if it's Disney related, and at this point everything Star Wars is Disney related, the Atwell's going to be able to hook you up. My kids have kind of grown out of the we have to go to Disney twice a year phase, which, you know, my pocketbook appreciates. But Josh's are right in the wheelhouse. So if there's anything to do with Disney and spending money, my guess is that Josh is going to be your man. We got all the ones they offered. Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. We're supposed to go there and I forgot to put you on. Thanks for not judging. We've met, right? I mean, we're talking about Legos. We're not talking about the 18 other things that I've spent too much money collecting. There's no judging. All right. Now, here's the deal. Oh, it was just that last one. I was gonna say, I have pieces left over here and we're only through the first damn bag. So that would be trouble. But what I did was I just missed this last one here. So that's fine. Put you in there. And this one goes behind it. And we put those two on the front. And these are the things that we have left over. All of them 1x1s. All of them pretty reasonable. So we'll stick those over in the little spare pieces pile. And there we go. Bag number 1. All right, I am gonna go get a drink. I will be right back. Like literally like 15 seconds right back. And we'll start on bag 2. All right, I'm back. All right. Looks like we've got a new green. So we've got the existing Yoda green, and then there's like a forest green, a darker green that's in there. Awesome. Big love to all you colorblind folks out there who are never going to figure that one out. Okay, bag 2. Looks like lots of black pieces to build the base. Yep, and then we're going to put the helmet on top of the base. So let's line these up because I believe we have 2 different sizes. And I usually end up being reduced to trying to count the number of pips on screen to figure out which one I'm supposed to be using. So if we line them up according to size, it makes it a little bit easier for me to figure out. All right. Oh, Mike, I meant to tell you, you were looking for one of the Skylanders Spyro figures, right? I literally have boxes and boxes and boxes of Skylander stuff that I can't bring myself to throw away. If you need one of the Spyro figurines, which I want to say we're only in maybe the first 2 years of that, just let me know. I'm happy to throw one in a box and send it over to you. So if you need that, if that's still something that you're looking for, like DM me or something off stream, and we'll figure out how to get that over to you. I miss Skylanders. Fun fact, the development group that did Skylanders is a company called Vicarious Vision. Vision? I don't know. But they were also I think they're owned or most partially owned or whatever by Activision. They were the company who came in and helped with all of the Dreaming City content for Destiny 2 that was released as the last DLC before Bungie bought the company back from Activision. So they are spectacular, and it was fun to see that it was the same group of people who had done all of the Skylanders videos and then had gone through and done a bunch of stuff with Destiny, and now I think they've got 3 or 4 projects that they're working on. So it was kind of cool to see, good people building good games, and even after the Skylanders thing got canceled, that Activision ended up finding them work to do. So that was pretty cool. Totally useless information. Why I know that, I don't remember. But I love Destiny and we all love Skylanders. So I figured I'd share. Oh my God, it's a Jay Cuthrell sighting. It's a Jay Cuthrell sighting and I'm not in Vegas, which is the most interesting part. Because usually Jay Cuthrell sightings are done in hallways while he's wearing a suit and I'm running from meeting to meeting. And this one is not. This is we're sitting around and drinking and telling ridiculous stories about game development companies and building Legos. So welcome. I think honestly, the question in chat was, why do you think the Toys to Life genre died? I think they just overdid it. I think it was kind of like the Guitar Hero, where there were just so many games that came out. I mean, you had the Amiibos, you had the Skylanders, you had the Disney Infinity, and there was a point where none of them used the same base and none of them had the same software, and it just felt like a gigantic money grab. I mean, my ex-in-laws, my kids' grandparents, ended up spending so much money on those Skylanders, and I feel like it got hard to justify spending $300 on figures for a $40 game that only worked on a single platform. But I also just think that, especially once Disney came in and just kind of ran roughshod over, we're gonna build all of these characters, and then the game is gonna kind of be okay, but everybody just plays in the sandbox because we didn't build any real compelling game content anyway. I think that kind of was the death knell for it. I mean, again, I think I showed pictures when I was cleaning out the upstairs. I've got 5 Tupperware bins full of Skylanders figures and one of the Infinity kind of official cases with all of the different discs and Infinity stuff that's in there. And yeah, I mean, I loved it. The kids loved it. I mean, it sounds like, your son's still playing with the figurines. I think as a parent, as a consumer, you look at one Skylanders game where you've paid $350 to play, and it just became a whole lot easier and a lot more profitable for the companies to just call that, in-game transactions, to just call that DLC and have people buy the virtual version of it. So I would say that Fortnite and all of the rest of the free to play and then you buy all the stuff in the game is kind of the logical conclusion of what Skylanders was doing with the plastic figurines that were manufactured and included. But what do I know? I'm just making shit up as we go here. All right. True story. For the first couple of years of Skylanders, it would actually save the stats for the character on the character itself. So if you had currency, or if you had power levels, or if you had whatever, you could take it to a friend's house, or you could even sell it, and that character would be powered up or would have whatever things unlocked or whatever was in there. I got bored at one point and went through every Skylanders character from Skylanders 1 and 2 and completely powered up every character and made sure that they all had 100% of all of the consumables and money and everything else that was in there. So the box of Skylanders characters that are upstairs are not just complete, as in there was a checklist and we bought every single one of them, but also all completely leveled and completely at a point where if you sold them to somebody or if somebody picked them up, it would be 100%, I guess 100% as maxed out as you could possibly make them. And my son was so impressed that he came down one day and all of his Skylanders were super powerful and he could just roll through the rest of the content of the game. I felt like that was a big dad moment for me. And I got to play Skylanders for like 10 straight hours. One more of those. There's one more of those. Yep, it's over here. One more of those. Man, the Disney Infinity complete. Cheers, that's impressive. Okay, got some Technic parts. We've got these little black snapping connectors which give me flashbacks to the Millennium Falcon. Twitching a little bit. And you're gonna go in there. And then we've got you. Which are actually going to anchor it. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So we took the two of these and put them together. And they're just snapped together with one of the black pieces. And then when we put this ring on, it's got 3 holes on one side and it's just got the 1 hole on this side. So we're going to put this in here and then anchor it by sticking that in there. And because the way this one is set up on the side, it actually sits flush. So now we're going to be able to put that other piece there and hide it and kind of keep it out of the way. Well done, Lego. Good job. Let's see. What's next? Yep, and then we put that last piece on. Oh, I called it. And we're going to put some. Yeah, I think it's Yoda green, because my guess is that this is exactly the same color green that they use for the Yoda set as well. Like some sort of like light forest green. I don't know, but it just looks like Yoda green to me. So that's what I'm going to call it. It's Yoda green. The big ones. I didn't buy the Yoda set. Again, I got as a birthday present or something, I got one of the Captain America, like the little chunky figurines things, like the Lego version of the Funko things, and I didn't like them at all. Like the Funko Pops is another one that I refuse to let myself get sucked into. So I'm sad to hear that you didn't like Brickheads. That's exactly it. I'm sad to hear you didn't like it, but I'm not surprised. All right, what do we got here? We've got you and you. Oh, wait. Those go inside, so I've got those on backwards. So those go like that. And I'll bet you it's to keep this from moving. Yep. See, so we put one of these on there, and so it sticks out a little bit. And they're actually both facing inward, so that there's no room for this guy to move back and forth. Because otherwise that would just kind of flop around. So I think we're just trying to limit it by using those pieces there. And you. These go on the other side. Like that. And then this ring goes around the top. This is not a trailer park girl. It does go around the outside. Is master build status an actual thing? Or is that just I yell spaceship real loud and I get to be a master builder? There should be some music playing in the background. We talked about it in chat earlier, and it was decided that having a little bit of music in the background was not a bad thing. Is it coming through? Is it not working? Is it not loud enough? I actually have, oh, look at that. So this guy in here still wobbles just a little bit. And in order to keep him from wobbling, we're actually gonna throw one of these in either side. And once we get that fit in there, that will keep that middle piece from moving it around. Very cool. Although it doesn't seem to want to go in the way it's supposed to. It should go in just like that. Oh, there it goes. It wasn't lined up quite right. Would you like to know the actual answer? You'll love this and you'll laugh at me. Here, I'll show you. Watch this. All right, so I made a quick trip to the garage, and what I have in the garage is this Tupperware container. And this, I don't know, it's that big? I don't know. But inside this Tupperware container is every Lego build that I have, and I keep all of the build instructions, right? So like, here's the gigantic build instruction booklet from the Millennium Falcon, because even though there are digital versions, you're right, why would I throw anything out ever? So you asked about the separator pieces. In every one of these, we'll take, here's the first order Star Destroyer, and inside the first order Star Destroyer manual is a bag that is taped to the inside of the first page that has all of the extra pieces that are in it. And if the set came with a brick separator, it goes in with the rest of the pieces. So here is the eagle, and inside you can see the bag is taped with all the extra parts, and the brick separator is in there. So the short answer is I keep them. I keep them along with all of the extra parts that always come in each of the sets, so that if I ever need them again, or if I want to resell the set and I want to call the set complete or whatever, I can have all of the stuff that's in there. Later, Mike. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, there's no throwing stuff away. That's not how I roll. All right. Jay had mentioned the music that's playing in the background, which is a fun story. Or I guess a kind of an interesting story. One of the things that kind of sucks about streaming and making YouTube videos is the copyright strikes and the demonetization and all the rest of that crap about, you know, you want to have a little music in the background or something, but it ends up being a problem with the content creators. No, my kids were conceived, and I know who else was in the room when that happened. Thank you, IVF. But there's a guy named Harris Heller who has a YouTube channel called Alpha Gaming, and I think he got a couple copyright strikes, but there were a couple times where like hundreds of YouTubers were getting copyright strikes and getting taken down over like 3-second clips of something that had gotten stuck in a recording or whatever it was, and it just kind of sucked. So what Harris did was he went out to a studio, like an electronic studio musician, I think, and just ordered a bunch of music tracks. I think there's 4 or 5 albums of them, and they're available on Spotify or YouTube, or you can download the MP3s or Google Play Music or Apple Music or whatever you want. And the deal is they're 100% copyright free. So you can use them, you can stream with them, you can put them on anything that you want to. No attribution required. You can monetize the hell out of it. You can do anything you want to. And he's basically provided them back to the community for free. The fun part is, because it's music that he is the owner of, that is playing on these streaming platforms, he actually gets paid because I'm streaming Spotify in the background and playing the stuff that he put in there. So I don't think it's just a tax write-off. Josh, I think he's making crazy bank. Like, I mean, if you go out to Spotify, like if I pull that up right now, and I look at monthly listeners, 42,076 monthly listeners for him as an artist for those tracks that he put up there. I mean, I think the guy's making absolute bank off of it. And if he paid more than $10,000 or $15,000 up front to have all of them composed and then buy the rights to them, I'd be surprised. I think it's brilliant. I think it's helpful for me because I can actually put music in the background of the stream and not have to worry about it, or put up a video and not have to worry about YouTube getting mad at me. But it also makes him money, which I'm all for anyway. Yeah, I've never been smart enough to get stuff like that done before everybody else jumps in and figures it out. So I'll just take advantage of it. It's pretty great. It's I mean, it's not necessarily my kind of music, but it works great for just background noise on the stream, that sort of thing. So all right, we've got you. Now it wants me to turn you upside down. Okay, and attach you to the bottom of this. Like so. Like so. All right. Going to turn you upside down and attach you. Yeah, well, it worked. So we turned it upside down, we attached it. Now it looks pretty centered. I think that's right. All right, we still got a lot of pieces left in bag 2 here, so looks like we're going to set you aside and build something else. And listen, you're touching yourself through your package. I don't want to hear it from you, Josh. Everybody else in here can give me shit. Not you. Not you. Oh, now are those green or are they yellow? I think those are green and not yellow. I'm going to try that again. Let's do the green ones. There are supposed to be, there it is. 5. Yeah, when I set the stream up, it says, do you want it to be teen? Do you want it to be 18 plus? And I didn't plan on doing anything that necessarily forced it into the 18 plus, but I mean, there was going to be vodka and my friends, so I figured better be safe than sorry. Yep. Dropping the F-bomb. I saw a meme on that the other day that I don't think I'd ever seen before, which is kind of surprising. That was a plane just dropping a big bomb shaped like an F. I was like, oh, I respect that. Flip it over this way. I have to keep remembering, like I put little pieces of tape kind of just off the camera angle, or off the camera field of view, so that I know, like, I can put stuff right here and you guys can still see it. I'm trying to keep things more in the middle. OCD issues. So you get these pieces that just have a little one. Let me see if I can get a little closer. Little one piece that's right there, and then they want you to put this on top of it, and so you put it on there, and there's nothing that keeps it straight. And you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that needs to be straight, and there's nothing to line it up with except visually. It's still a pain in the ass. So trying to make sure that all of those are straight is a pain, but what are you gonna do? All right, where are we? The cool thing, I love this table, and like maybe I'll do, the next time we do one of these, I'll show off the table some more. It's called the Ultimate Gaming Table, and so it actually, the top parts here that make it a regular dining room table come off, and it's got a lowered table surface that you can actually adjust the height of, so that you could be playing board games, or you could be building Legos, or you could be doing whatever you want to, and then put the top back on so that you don't have to move it. Or if you're playing one of those settlers games that takes 6 days and makes everybody hate each other and never want to talk to one another again, you can leave it out without having to worry about things getting knocked over, or kids getting their hands in it, or pets, or anything like that. So I love this table. I love this table a bunch. We'll have to see if we can show that off a little bit more next time. Maintaining safe social distance, of course, as we do because we're all good citizens of the world. Where are you gonna go? This way? Yes. All right, so this is going to go right on there. All right. I actually just looked over and saw I've got the stream running in a browser. I'm pretty happy with how my little Lego design came out. I made that last night. And it actually ended up looking pretty good. Kind of pleased with myself after a few drinks. I like it. All right, so here's interesting. If you look at step 68, it wants us to put these two pieces together, and then it wants us to put a Yoda green 1x1 on top of it, which, as you can see, doesn't exist. But it did end up being one of the extra pieces that we had from bag 1, which is why I always just put those in a pile over there and then leave them alone, because we'll always end up needing them. This goes in there. There's lots of these. Speaking of non-Lego people, this is actually kind of fascinating, where you can see they've done entire sides of this with 90-degree blocks on it. So you can tell, like, we put this piece on here, but you can tell there's going to be lots of different attach points up here, and then attach points on here, and then basically this entire piece for being able to build something that has structure and then attach it to each of the sides. Nothing on the other side yet. Set it aside, and you. We flip it over. Now that's funky. So here's a piece, and I wonder if I can zoom that in. Oh, look at that, I can. Okay, so here's a piece that is just 3 pieces long, but instead of having 3 pips on the top, it only has 2, which means it's gonna fit weird. And indeed, they want you to put it on here, but when you put it on properly, it ends up having that overhang. Like there's that little bit of lip that's gonna hang out there. So that's kind of interesting. I'm curious to see what that's gonna end up looking like. And then they're doing the same thing over here. So it's almost like instead of doing a 4-piece and a 5-piece, they're doing a 4-piece and then hanging half off of each side, which is kind of cool. And that was total Lego nerd shit right there. But I thought it was interesting. And then you go there. All right. We got that. And then the whole thing is going to go on this front side, like like that? No, it's not like that. It's got to go one more. Ooh, that feels very tenuous. That feels a little, I think that's right, but that doesn't feel very, very tight on there. I don't know if it's really a zoom effect. There's just a button on the camera that says telephoto, and the Canon autofocus is just spectacular. So you can do it without it being too much of a wait for it to revive fest. So I feel like this is where I have to send the obligatory Canon or Sony is not paying me for this stream, but they should be. They should be. Mixer does create video on demand recording, so after this gets done, I think it saves it for 14 days or something as it goes up there. And then I think you can do clips, but I think you have to be fancy. Like I think you have to be, I think it's kind of like Twitch. You've got to have a certain number of followers, or you've got to have a certain level with them in order to get things like being able to let users make clips and that sort of stuff. And I'm not fancy like that at all, so I'm confident that you're not going to be able to do any of that stuff on mine. It will not do it automatically. It's pretty trivial to do it though. I'm actually, I could take it and push it over. I could use restream.io and actually broadcast to both of them at the same time. And if you stream on YouTube, it'll create a video of it afterwards. And I'm recording to the local hard drive. So I'll have a video file that I can pull down, and if I wanted to post-produce it or do whatever, I could do that as well. But it won't do it. It doesn't do it by default. It doesn't do it by default. I mean, I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that Mixer is not gonna play well with a Google property and vice versa. I've actually thought that, and who was I having this conversation with? Nick Howell. I was having the conversation with, if YouTube ever figures out that it would be trivial for them to make very, very small changes to their streaming service and basically dominate everything forever, that they totally could. So it's interesting to just debate the pros and cons of streaming directly on YouTube versus streaming on Twitch or streaming on Mixer. I mean, obviously, I'm part of the reason that I do this is to try to help do my job and be able to provide good feedback to the product teams, but part of it is just to see, what are the capabilities and what can you do. Oops. All right, well we did interestingly, exactly 2 hours after I started the stream, that drop happened. So it'll be interesting to figure out why exactly that did, but for whatever reason, it's back. But I would, I may try to, back to your point, Josh, I may try streaming on YouTube just to see if the experience is any different, any better. I have an account on Twitch as well. So I may play around with them and just see what do I like and what works and what doesn't. But if YouTube ever decides they want to, they could do very, very little and basically own all real-time streaming forever just because of YouTube and the platform and how easy it is to monetize that content. If you told a YouTube creator, and there's bunches of people that Twitch on stream or stream on Twitch or stream on Mixer and then post videos to YouTube. If you told them you could give them a 20% bump in the algorithm that recommends their stuff, if they also streamed on YouTube, Twitch would disappear overnight. Mixer would disappear overnight. Nobody would stream anywhere except YouTube. I mean, they own that video on demand so much that if all you gave me was the ability for my video on demand content, my channel to be found through the algorithm easier because I also streamed there, there'd be no reason to go anywhere else. There'd be no reason to stream on any other platform. All right, I think I got all the pieces on here. And then this one is gonna go, all right, so all of these weird, like this is the piece that's gonna end up being the reinforcing. But all those weird cutouts and everything that we had in there in different like brick levels and that sort of stuff, it's all to make sure that this fits exactly in where it's supposed to go so that you know you've got everything right. Jay, if you have if you've got a link to those webcams, I'd love to see it. Just because I'm bored and locked down, I've been trying to pull cameras from different Chinese web stores and find out like if they actually do what they say they're going to do. You know, will this webcam that I'm using right here, will it do 1080p at 60 frames a second? No, it won't. But it's not terrible. I mean, it's not the worst camera that I've ever used. But if you've got a link to those, put it in chat or DM me or shoot something. I'd love to take a look at it. All right, and we're done with bag 2. Congratulations, everybody. All right. I'm gonna see how quick I can do bag 3. We're gonna do bag 3 as a speed run. And of course I say that, and now bag 3 looks like it's 1,000 tiny little pieces. Wah, wah. Okay, speed run, here we go. Oh, remember how I was telling you I hate these ones that you have to visually line up? Step 84 is a whole stack of them. Wonderful. So there's a whole stack, and I've got nothing but my failing old eyes to line them up. God, I know. But this was supposed to be a speed build round, so ta-da! Oh, look, it lines up flat against this piece, so I can actually just hold it and then force them flat. There we go. That'll work. That'll do. That'll do. And then this goes on the side with the post, and it goes like I'm assuming all the way against the back like that. All right. You and you. Are you backseat driving my Lego building? You're not that far away. I'm not backseat driving, honey. I'm just trying to get you there safe. I don't think that would go over so well. And this one's going to go on the same side, and it's also going to connect to the little beam that's in there. But this one's going to face the other direction. I don't know. We'll find out. PTZ for cheap. Sweet. Thank you, Jay. I'll definitely take a look. Yeah, sometimes those Chinese online ordering sites can be rabbit holes that you wish you'd never gone down. All right. Yes, Josh. Chinese online ordering sites and Pornhub have much in common. Good call. And there's a gray one, allegedly. Maybe that's green. I think it's green. We're going to use green. That doesn't work the way I thought it would. Oh, that's because that's the wrong piece. Never mind. That works. We've got you, and you, and you. And you. Go on there like that. All right. You. A, I didn't know there was a Big Ben set. B, it is neither NASA nor Star Wars, so chances are I'm going to be okay, but I appreciate you taking one for the team. I really do. excellent set. That's not what I want to hear. I want to hear, yeah, it sucked. I did it. I'll never do it again. You shouldn't do it either. You're not missing anything. You shouldn't even go look at it to see how big it is or what sort of reviews it gets or how much it costs. You shouldn't do any of that stuff. I did that for you. That's what you should say. Yeah, honestly, sometimes I bought 2 of the Voltrons. One of them's still unopened in the box because I have issues. But honestly, it's one of the things that's been interesting about moving back into the house and kind of being the only person here. I am perfectly happy to use Lego in all of my decorating. And I've shared pictures of the library, which I think you can see back there behind me. I've shared pictures of the library on Twitter. I'm 100% cool and excited about it. What was funny was one of the comments that I got was, "Wow, it's obvious a woman doesn't live there." I was like, okay, I mean, you're not wrong, but I feel like, what if she likes Legos too? What if she looks at the 3-foot high Saturn V and says, that fits perfectly right there? There's nothing wrong with that. I haven't been to your house in a billion years, Josh. Like that might actually not be exaggerating. It might have been a billion years ago. Yes, once. I think once, after you guys moved, I came over to visit. But it might have been right after you guys moved. Yeah, I think that's right. A billion years. $1 billion years. I kind of like doing this. I like streaming and playing games too, but I like doing this too. I like, I think we need, definitely next time, we need like a Discord channel or something that everybody can jump into so that I can hear everybody talk instead of just talking to the chat. I mean, I'll still talk to the chat because sometimes people just don't want to, after a full day of Zoom meetings, have to get back on a Zoom meeting. But I think maybe the next time we do this, set it up so that, yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Jay. It's one of the things that I've thrown kind of up the stack as a huge flag for Mixer, is that every channel type on Mixer is game. There's no coding, there's no just chatting, there's no, I mean, it feels, even just finding a category for this, what did I end up picking? Maker and crafting or some crap, because they didn't have any good categories for me to be able to use. So I noticed that as well, that Twitch has really jumped onto the just chatting side of things, which to this point Mixer has not gotten at all. I don't know. I would imagine that YouTube is going to become, because especially for things like teaching people how to play music and stuff like that, it lends itself really well to then going and doing a video on demand stream or a video on demand of it on YouTube. I would imagine that a bunch of that stuff is moving to YouTube. Again, it would take very, very little to convince me that YouTube is the best platform to stream on. Very, very little. Yes, the algorithm is definitely the joy and pain of YouTube. But again, if I was a content creator and was monetizing the YouTube videos at all, if you gave me any sort of appreciable bump in the visibility of my channel by the algorithm in exchange for streaming on the platform, I do it in a heartbeat. Like, there would be no downside to doing, to doing that completely on YouTube. One-stop shop. They've redone the video editing tools. I mean, $20. I, however, get paid for my professional content creation skills elsewhere. I just do this for fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I felt like I could make 50 grand a month doing this full time, I'm out. You never see me at another conference in Vegas again. Now, what on earth do they want me to do with this? They want me to make that go there. Like that. That's interesting. You shut your mouth. They're gonna let me back on a plane at some point. It's gonna be normal again. Everybody will be happy. All right. There, we got it on there. Everything lines up. All right. I saw one of my coworkers tweeted out, "Hey advocates, do you know where your passport is?" And I promise every one of us just kind of stopped for a minute and went, I think I know where my passport is. Like my whole travel bag. Nothing to do. It's pretty great. I'm sure I'll get tired of it at some point, but so far, it's been a welcome break. Got the house remodel done, got moved. Get to hang out with the kids for a while. It's been pretty great. You know, that it took a global pandemic for it to happen. Not optimal, but I choose to see the silver lining in these things. Or something like that. Part of me is kind of amused to see my kids have to experience the I'm going to spend all day in online meetings life and realize that it's not quite as cool as they thought it was. This one is going to go above. Like that. All right, so I guess we've got kind of the eyes forming and the forehead, and then that's going to be one of the sides. All these little tiny pieces to try to build the roundedness of the helmet. Hey Josh, do you you have the Millennium Falcon? The great big 7,500 piece one? Did you get that one? So again, we've kind of got the whole, it's funny, you built it all in different pieces, but it ends up being kind of one big smooth overlay. All right, so here's what I have left over as pieces. So these ones, not too worried about those little one pieces. This guy I'm worried about. Like, this guy probably needed to end up on there somewhere, and he's not. So I'm going to go back through the instructions and find out where this might have been used while I was talking. Dark green, 2x4. Dark green 2x4. You know what? I think it's gonna go right there. I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, you can. See, there's a little gap in there. I think that's where it's gonna go. So I think if I just take this panel off, yep, that's where it goes. The little pieces, they always kind of throw extra little pieces in there. The big ones, that's when I start to worry. But now we found it, put this back on, and now there's no gap in there. Sweet. And then we'll take those and we'll put them over in the rest of our pile. That's always the fun part, where you have that one piece and you're like, oh shit, that piece should not be left over. Okay, so bag 3 went quick. Bag 3 went quick. And bag 4 looks like reasonably big pieces. We're gonna build this one quick too. Right. Although in engine repair, the little pieces can screw you too. But yes, there's a piece that gets above. Later, Jay. Good to talk to you. There's a piece where you get above a certain size, and that piece becomes not optional. That's not a nice to have piece anymore at above a certain size. That was pretty cool. I haven't talked to Jay in, I don't know, years. The power of Twitter compels you. All right. Brings all the people together, kumbaya style. Nope, that's a green one. There we go. And we flip it. You. And you. And you. And then we flip it again. Yeah, Jay and I were actually day 0 employees at VCE together. He was on the sales team to start with, where I was on the solutions team, and then after that first big reorg, Jay and I ended up in the office of the CTO together. Yes, I do still have my Acadia card, and don't get me started, Josh. Don't get me started. if you do say so yourself. Yeah, I remember, I think I've told you this story. So Aaron Delp called and was like, hey, I know what we're doing next. This is gonna be fun, let's go do it. And I was like, you know, storage just doesn't seem like the place I need to be. That's a full contact sport. Last trip around didn't end great. I think I'm gonna pass. I think I'm doing some consulting, I'm doing some writing. I think I'll be okay. And his response was something along the lines of, yeah, you're stupid. So I'm gonna book you a ticket to come out and do an interview. And we'll see you in Boulder. I was like, oh, fair enough. And that began the next 4 years of my life. Good times. True story. I've never hated a job that paid me so well in my entire life. There's not a lot I miss, particularly about the last 2 years of that job. Do miss the paychecks. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, this one's going on. So it looks like this is the other. It's like here's one side. Looks like this is going to be the other. Like that. I was trying, my hope was that I was going to get this done by midnight. So let's see if we can't hammer through here. Don't mess up your enjoyment for speed. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. Pretty sure. Could be wrong. Pretty sure that's what she said. Driveway bourbon makes me jealous. I hate you both. Like that. All right, Phil. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night. I'll let you know next time we do something like this. This isn't exactly a difficult build. Yeah, it shows that there's, what, 5 people still on the stream, but I don't see anyone else in chat. This isn't a difficult build. It's just kind of like lots and lots of plates after you build that original core. Just plates that you're going to decorate around. No, and I am reasonably confident it's on purpose, but they don't have you do one side the exact same way, flip it over, one side the exact same way. Like even the 2 sides, which, I mean, obviously this and this are going to end up being just the mirror opposites, but they've given it to you to build to where it feels completely different, and then at the last minute you're like, oh, look, it's the same thing that I built on the other side. So they do a pretty good job of keeping it from being tedious, just because they give you a little bit of variability to it. It's almost like they know what they're doing, which is crazy. I know. Yeah. Yeah, the only thing on the Saturn V that kept me engaged was making sure that all of your white stripes and your black stripes lined up, so that when you put them on, it didn't end up looking all patchwork. But other than that, I totally agree. This will be the last of the build sections for bag 4. Almost done. All right, I messed something up because this is not the right piece, which means somewhere on here, like that piece right there, I used and I think I can get this off of there without too much trouble. Yep. I used, actually, you know what? It's the other side. That is actually the right piece. It's this one that is not the right piece. The MOC crawler. No. I don't think so. Send me a link or throw it in chat. I'd love to see it. Get off of there. See now. All right, so I was right. This and this go there. So those two match up. And then this and this go there. And then that goes under there. And then that whole thing goes right here in the front. So that's going to be like the top of the visor. All right. And that is the end of bag 4. Last bag. It looks like pretty big pieces too. And that's it. This is the end. This is the end of the build. All right. You. What the hell is that piece? It's like an outside of a circle. I don't know that I've had one of those in a build recently. I still haven't seen Trolls World Tour. That was one the kids saw. And since they had already seen it and were happy with it, it was like, don't really need to Don't need to take one for the team there. I don't know if you had answered it earlier. Did you get the new Millennium Falcon? Have you done that build yet? Yeah, I know that feeling. On the upside, it's a really spectacularly fun build. Like it's got some techniques in there that, like, you're putting stuff together and you're like, that's pretty damn cool. Like I enjoyed building those Legos, for sure. The next one for me is I have the Imperial Star Destroyer, and I've measured it out, and I think I know where it's going to go, but I need to get the Wicked Bricks platform for it. I just did that, didn't I? Yeah. I need to get the Wicked Bricks platform for it, but I'm going to build it anyway. Like even if it ends up not having anywhere to go, I'm not going to let something silly and practical like that stop me. Remember when the Solid Fire referral bonuses were like $5,000 a pop? That was crazy. Interesting story. Okay. That one goes there. That one goes there. That's better. And then almost done. I'm excited. This has been fun. I'll have to figure out how like I feel like I don't mind streaming for 3 hours to build something, but I feel like that's probably not something that everyone is capable of doing. So I need to figure out like what's the best way to handle like some of those larger builds. Like if we were gonna stream it, do we do like 2 hours a night and then we're just done? Kind of put it away and then wait for the next one, or stream it 3 times a week, or whatever the schedule is, but kind of stick to a window and say we're going to stream for this long, and then when we're done, you know, with the time period, with the time that we've had, you know, we're finished and we're going to move on. Because as much as I would sit down and just build Lego for hours and hours on end, it feels like that's probably not the best way to maintain. do a couple bags. I mean, I guess depending on the size of the build or whatever, do a couple bags, and then pack everything up. And then this is gonna just fit right down in there. And there's his face. This attaches to there like that. We've got a Boba Fett plaque. Oh, oops, you put it on straight. Attaches like that. And there we go. We got Boba Fett. Got his little plaque on there. Got the little antenna on the side. Got the back. And got the other side. So there we go. The first of the stream-built Lego helmets. 2 more to go, and then all sorts of fun stuff. Oh yeah, I can definitely, I'll post the link to the video on demand, and I'll throw a picture up on Twitter and show you where it'll end up, but yeah, we'll definitely be able to do that. So there we go, awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who joined in chat. Took a little time out of Saturday and did something normal. That was a lot of fun. So we'll schedule the next one, see what we can do. Maybe we'll build one of the other helmets and do that as a joint build. Seems like we can get those done in a night, and this one would have been done way faster if I had stopped talking at some point. So have a good night, enjoy, and Boba Fett says have a happy quarantine. Later, everybody.